Today is Good Shepherd Sunday. Why did Jesus call himself a shepherd, and how are we like sheep? Shepherds have featured right through the history of God's people. So before we read the gospel, let's find out something more with a shepherd quiz. So who were these shepherds? You can look at the grid. There are 10 names. He used to play music as he watched his sheep. And the answer is David. He was the first shepherd mentioned in the Bible. Abel, Adam and Eve's son. While he was caring for his sheep, he saw a bush on fire which didn't get burnt. Moses. And later he led God's people to safety, just like a shepherd. God asked him to leave his home and travel to a land that he didn't know, and he obeyed. Abraham. Could call him a ranch owner because he was quite a wealthy shepherd, lots of servants. Jesus commanded him to care for his sheep. Peter. Now these three children, were looking after their father's flocks when Mother Mary appeared to them. Three answers: Lucia, Jacinta, and Francisco. And another shepherd girl who Mother Mary appeared to at Lourdes, Bernadette. The last question, the last one is a number. In which psalm did David say that he was like a sheep and God was like a caring shepherd? Psalm 23. Now, out of all the animals in the world, in creation, why do you think God picked the example of sheep for us? Why not a lion or eagle or horse? So here are some facts about sheep that might help us understand. Sheep can only see up to 20 feet away. And when they're thirsty, they will drink from a muddy, dirty puddle, even if there's a clean stream ahead of them. When they are attacked, they can't defend themselves. They can even die from panic. They just run madly and injure themselves. Sometimes a heavy sheep gets cast. It rolls over and can't get up again. And if no one rescues it, it can die. Sheep tend to follow others blindly. Once in Turkey, one sheep fell over a steep cliff, and then after him, 1,500 sheep followed and went over. Most of them died. So are we like sheep in any way? What do you think? We may be able to look after our physical needs, but when it comes to our spirits, we are rather like sheep. Without a good shepherd, sometimes we lose our way. We can't fight the enemy by our own power, and we just fall for the tricks of the devil. Sometimes we follow others blindly, even if it brings us to harm. Sometimes we get sad, we get cast, and we can't get up again. But one very good reason is that we are precious to the shepherd. So God knew that we needed a good shepherd, and he sent Jesus. And today in the gospel, Jesus speaks of two figures who call the sheep. Who are they and what do they want with the sheep? Listen. A reading from the Gospel of St. John. Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him because they do not know the voice of strangers. Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep." The word of the Lord. Now, what did Jesus call himself? Two things: a gate and a shepherd. Now, how can he be both of them? Here's a good explanation. When a shepherd moves from place to place with his flock, he has to build a shelter for the sheep, for them to shelter in at night. So he gathers thorny branches or stones, places them around with a small gap to enter, and gets a sheep in every night. Then he lies down across the gap, becoming the gate. He does all this to protect his sheep. According to the Gospel, what does the Good Shepherd do for his sheep? He calls them by name. What does that tell us? That our Good Shepherd, though he wants us to be in the flock, but he knows each one of us personally and he calls us. And he also leads them out. He goes before them. Jesus doesn't ask us to go where he hasn't been. He faced everything before us, and he shows us the way, how to live our life. Now, Jesus also made a very important statement to show what he had come for. What did he say? I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly. He's come to give us life. Jesus said he was the gate. Now, what did he say would happen to those who entered by him? What will happen to them? He said, whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. So if we enter by Jesus, we will be safe, we will be saved, we will be free, and we will be well fed by him. And now we come to the other player in the story. Jesus mentioned the other person. Who did he mention? The thief, the one who climbs in instead of coming through the gate, illegitimate. And what does he come to do, according to Jesus? To steal, to kill, to destroy. We know who's the one who comes to try and destroy us spiritually. Now, what prevents the sheep from getting caught? This is important for all of us, because we have these two different figures, one the good shepherd, one the thief. What must we do? Refuse to listen to the thief and instead listen to the good shepherd. So do we hear our shepherd's voice? Do you recognize it and go to him when he calls? And do you follow him in the way that he shows us? The way to life, which means truth and love and faithfulness, humility. Or do we sometimes listen to the other voice which says, why sweat? Take the easy way. Why love? Think about yourself. Do what makes you happy. That's one we hear a lot, don't we? Why forgive? It's too difficult. He doesn't deserve it. So at last, let's think of one question. Practically, how can I hear the voice of the shepherd? How does he speak and lead us? There are many ways. We can't go into all the ways, but I'll share once again a story which I've shared before, which might help us understand. So about 25 years ago, my husband's elderly uncle and aunt came to stay next door to us. They had no one to look after them, both were unmarried, and so we took on this task. But after a few months, my husband said to me, you have too much work cooking for all 7 of us, and it's expensive also. Let them order food, and today I'm going to find out the cost. Other family members also gave me the same advice, because they cared about me. But I was not feeling peaceful about this. And I kept arguing in my mind, trying to think of how they would feel, and I said, Lord, do you really want to do this? Please tell me. Today I need to know. What do you want? And that night, just before family prayer time, my youngest son, who was just about 8 years old, started singing a song from a movie. He was singing, consider yourself at home. Consider yourself one of the family. There isn't a lot to spare. Who cares? Whatever we got, we share. My antennae went up, and I realized that God was trying to talk to me, not even through a hymn, but just through my son and through a movie song. So God talks to us in different ways. Then his older sister Joanna, who took the gospel of the day for reflection. It was her turn to lead the prayer. It was the story of the loaves and the fish. And she read Jesus' words, don't send them away to buy food, give them what you have. And then I knew for sure the Lord was guiding me. We had to feed uncle and auntie ourselves, and there was a promise there that God would provide. He would work a miracle. And he did. Looking back, I can see that we never fell short of food or money or energy. And besides, we learnt a wonderful lesson, which is not just think of yourself, think about others. This just brings out a few points. And I think one more point to remember is that if we really ask, if we know that the shepherd is there, he does want to speak to us, then we will be attentive. And then we will hear. So let's think about each of us, ourselves. Am I ready to respond and go wherever the Lord leads? Do I hear his voice? Let's tell him. Join with me as we sing this hymn. Shepherd of my soul, I give you full control. Wherever you may lead, I will follow. I have made the choice to listen to your voice. Wherever you may lead, I will go. Amen. If you're in a group, share a time when you listened and you heard the Lord guiding you. So bye for now. Let's pay attention to the voice of the Good Shepherd and close our ears when the thief tries to lure us away, because the Good Shepherd only wants to give us life, abundant life.